Okay.
I can talk about the content cloud at the end, whatever you guys want to do, but we'll just feel it. Guys, we're just
We'll
feeling it.
feel
How's
it.
everyone's
We're
day?
just
Are
gonna
we feeling
feel it.
too tight? You feeling too tight, Mike?
Get it tight. Get it right.
You need a massage?
Yeah, of the hand variety on
Uh,
my genitals.
I was about to ask, wait, you want a hot, say it, mahansage? Mahansage?
Just go ahead and
Mahansage.
just go
You,
ahead and call me what's her name? The girl that's like HOTTOGO.
Chapel Rowan.
Yes, thank you, Ryan.
who?
I knew you'd know it. All right.
I don't
Anyways,
know. I don't know who this is. Wait, can you just tell
let's
me who that is real quick?
it's
While I
just come
hide
on, Mike.
myself. I'm just
Yeah.
hiding myself. I'm just
Live.
hiding myself.
Why don't you come out from
All
that
right.
rock you're
Hey,
living under
let me tell you something.
and
I'm
join us
on the
in
ride.
the economy of
I'm on
nothing?
the ride, fellas. Mr. Green's in the pilot seat. The captain's just along for the ride. He's got comments on how Green's driving, but he's not behind the wheel.
All right, and Mr. Green mutes Captain, and 3, 2, 1. Economy of nothing.
Economy of nothing.
Economy of nothing.
Beautiful. Welcome to the Economy of Nothing podcast, where you're watching a show being made in real time. We're here in the studio out in outer space in I believe, a cargo container with a window on it, and it must be some very strong glass because we're in space, and I'm pretty sure there's, I don't know, pressures and vacuums and shit like that, black hole stuff. Anyways, the show's called Economy of Nothing. We're on our 30th season. We've done about 1,000 episodes at this point. I am glad to be your host today. My name is Mike Allen, aka Business Mike, aka the original Mr. Green, aka I'm just going to keep making up names as I go. So,
Certified genius. Number one podcast.
yeah, certified genius. Ryan, aka, gave me that title and gave me a round of applause for it. But I'd like to introduce my co-host here, Ryan, who doesn't have a last name. Say hello, Ryan.
Hello. No last name here. Thank you.
And also the original creator and idea man of the show and the heavy lifter behind the scenes from a technical aspect, our very own Captain Tracy. Mike Bedone, would you like to say hello?
I would like to say hello. Hello, everybody. Welcome back.
Well, now, the podcast was a little too long for visual radio this week. Something had to be done. So we trimmed the front just a bit, took out the long fight pitch, the rogue podcast theorizing, and the first 37 elevator jingles. But don't worry, it's all still there in the full podcast version or on Patreon. Just head to economyofnothing.com and you'll find the whole mess in all its glory. For now, we pick up where the rambling is nearly at its end. Something about children's toys, naturally.
Maybe people want hard games, right? What are they going to come up with another idea? Maybe they'll fall back to an old idea, but they're going to come up with a new idea.
First off, they're never coming up with a new idea. They're just going to buy indie developers. That's all they're going to do.
Damn.
And then make those games inside of Fortnite, right?
Yeah, but the problem with that method is
Minecraft.
that if you notice that everything starts
I haven't
becoming
seen it.
a
Maybe it's
mobile
good.
game. Everything is starting to become a mobile game because it's just, I don't know who's playing these mobile games, but if you are, you should really look at
Billions of
yourself.
people around the world, right? They're like, part of the lie they're giving you is that like you're their audience or that they care what you think. No, man. They could sell it in another market. They can do anything else. They could not, like, they can make up for your care in a second, and they don't care at all, right? Like,
Yes, and the economy of nothing is a lot like that. Anyways, all right, we didn't want to get rambly, and we got super rambly, a little off topic, but you know
I mean,
what?
that's
It's
okay. I
still-
mean, no, I think we're
yeah,
rambling pretty well on topic. I mean, not enough for Ryan to stick around, but in all fairness,
right.
he was on time.
I do think I would like to talk about the dispatch. I'll wait till Ryan gets back to fully flesh that out. But
Oh, why do we have to wait? He doesn't care.
okay, we can go ahead. So Mike Bedone.
We can do the awkward setup while he's gone, right? And then we'll sound like we were
Yeah.
good the whole time.
All right, so the dispatch in the economy of nothing is the main terminal where the leaderboard is at. We know that, and it is also like where the water cooler is. It's kind of like dispatch is it has like the locker rooms before you go and get on your ship. Like it's a locker room with a like a leaderboard, and it's where all the company meetings take place with like the employees, but it's a place for the employees, and management doesn't really hang out there, right? It's basically like when the crew comes back from a job, they see the other crews, they're talking, they're bullshitting. We need to really flesh out who are the characters that we're seeing there. Are there going to be rival crews going against us on the leaderboard? Is there going like is Cheyenne there because we know that she like doesn't really like to work at Nothing Corp, but she'll come in sometimes. We definitely know that the captain and Mr. Green and the Rangers are there. I think Mississippi's obviously on her own crew there, and like begrudgingly doesn't talk to you. Which in real life, if you want some context, Mississippi is Mike Pedon's dog, who's very annoying, but she's super sweet. But in this version of the show, Mississippi becomes sentient and realizes how bad Mike Pedon's treated her and doesn't want to have
Wow.
anything to do with him.
Slanderous
Not-
towards me and the captain. But no, I think that's really good, and I think the thing that like you got to there, and it's a question for like I think Ryan too, as we've talked about our characters and fleshing them out, is like I guess the way I thought about it on my walk today is like if I needed to right now, no problem, 12 14 episodes of like the Captain Tracy story, right? But like as we've talked about it becoming the economy of nothing, right? There needs to be more stuff and like that stuff to be filled. So one of the questions towards the dispatch would be is the parts of the show that aren't directly following the captain and stuff or following the antagonists of that episode, are we going back to the dispatch or are we following particular dispatch people like maybe primarily Cheyenne as she goes through other parts of the Nothing Corporation, right? Or is it a place that we go back to and some characters are there sometimes, right?
All right, so
Does that make
yes, and this comes to my mind, and I think this will be funny. I definitely think that after any part in the show when like a really big mission happens that moves the story forward, I think the next episode should always come back to the dispatch to continue character growth between, rival gangs or, friend gangs or, crews or whatever. And however, I do think it'd be funny if we had like always a new crew, like a zany crew walk by, and it could be a little Easter egg. Like in one episode, it could be like characters that look like Scooby Doo characters in the Mystery Machine or something. Like you're like, wait, was
The
that them
Beatles.
walking about? Right? Because it's everything and it's nothing at the same time, right?
Yeah.
So I just think it'd be funny to always have like little Easter eggs each of a different crew. We don't have to talk to them; they just walk by in a scene, and maybe you got to catch it, you got to look for it, right? Because that would give something the viewers to kind of also like look for, and that's what builds like loyalty in your show. That's why people still quote Simpsons to this day about like predicting stuff, right?
You are slaying it, and I'm going to let Ryan go. I'm just going to tell everyone economyofnothing.com/codex/factions poo-crew. They're a crew of 4 sentient bears managed by Lance. Anyway, Ryan, continue.
Wouldn't you? Okay, I'm sorry. That's a missed opportunity to not include Piglet and Eeyore and Rabbit and Kanga and Little Roo. There's Owl and most of all Winnie the Pooh. I mean,
What about Donkey?
Eeyore. What do you
Yeah.
mean? Donkey is from Shrek.
Well, we could have Shrek there too.
Shrek,
Yeah, well, I mean-
Shrek,
well, I mean, we
Donkey,
can- we
Fiona,
can
and the
have-
dragon, and then they just get up on a dragon and ride off into space.
Yeah, I mean,
That is
you can
iconic.
do whatever you want.
I mean,
it doesn't.
it needs to be two things, right? You need to have a setup and a joke, right?
Well, here's
Like-
the thing. The first thing, yeah, I mean, you could be like, "Oh, that's my swamp. Onions are layers."
Like the
whatever.
Pooh
There's a
Crew's
lot
just
there.
so goofy in the first thing, and it sets up the concept of weird crews that it's allowed to get away with being the most bog standard idea, right?
I personally think we
Sure,
should do
sure,
a
sure.
reference to Aqua Teen Hunger Force. I think that'd be funny. They're already out.
Sailor
in space
Moon?
anyways.
I think there must be a reference to Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon
Yeah.
is an icon, a gay icon, a legend. I mean, just look at how she twirls and she turns into the fucking moon.
I think one of the great things to think about is like I
really?
think that this is a great place.
The
to think
embodiment of the
about,
moon.
like archetypes and stuff. If you have something you want, like the thing I wanted to do is have something to say about like that type of anime or something, which I just don't have, right? And
Okay,
if
but
I
here-
were
yeah,
to
you
just
can
write
think
it, it
of
would
it. I'm
just
just
be
saying-
like
Yeah.
I'm just
No,
saying
here-
that it's a think about that moving forward. We don't have to come up with it right now
Yeah, yeah,
because obviously there's
Yeah.
not a joke for it right now. But I think it would be funny if like
Totally.
it's going to come in my head that if you had the Scooby-Doo crew, but it looks like them, but it's not exactly them, and then
Yeah.
they get into a mystery machine, like, flying vehicle, and then they let the windows down and a bunch of weed comes out. Like, that is a joke we all know because we all thought they were stoners. Like, it all started with Shaggy and Scooby, but the reality is those dudes are hanging out with Shaggy and Scooby. It's like, Fred and, like,
Velma,
Daphne and
Daphne,
Velma. Like, yeah, they're not
Why do you
fucking
think Velma can't see
24/7.
nothing without her glasses because her
Daphne-
vision's blurry?
They all
Velma
be
got a contact high. For
I'm just
sure.
saying, they all be eating the Scooby snacks. But if the Scooby snacks were truly dog treats, you would not eat them unless you were high.
Listen,
That is so true.
I do not know my Scooby-Doo canon. Do the non-Scooby Shaggy members of the team eat the Scooby snacks? Please send
Sound
an email
off
to
below.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Oh my
sure.
god, how old are we? Send us an email.
Scooby
Send
eats
us a
human
pigeon.
food,
Oh,
right?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Find our Meta account, please.
We'll find our Meta account. Okay, no, here's
You
what
can
I
find
have
us
to
on
say about.
Second Life.
I must say this about the economy of nothing. In my mind's eye, Mississippi Mississippi is dispatch. Mississippi is the dispatcher. Like, you go up to a desk and she is the HBIC at this desk. It's like a series of like Library of Congress-esque desk where it's like, you know, it's like a pyramid of like a circular pyramid that builds up. And like Mississippi is the one that's like there. She's in charge of the dispatching. She is the dispatcher.
Cook.
That makes sense.
Cook. We're gonna cook. Okay, I love it. I love Mississippi being there. I love that she's in a like semicircle desk, and her desk is kind of like Pam from The Office, but she has all the authoritative power. But she's also sassy.
And there's all those little dog steps up to the next level. Like, it's just dog steps up to the next level. And everyone else has to like climb up.
And like the captain comes in and like because it used to be his pet, like he subconsciously tries to like pet her, and it like offends her. And I'm thinking, like, in my head, if she's like she has the voice of a sassy black woman, like, I think that would be hilarious because you think you could just tell me what to do all the time, and you left me at home when I wanted to go on walks. Like,
she's Laverne from Scrubs.
I mean,
she's that bitch. Yeah. She is that fucking bitch.
Or what's the girl from Parks and Rec? Yeah.
Okay, let's not get crazy now.
No, the one that's like the.
What is her name though?
Rita.
Yeah, is it Rita?
What's
or
her name in real life?
Rhonda?
That's her name in real life is the one name Rita.
Okay, well,
her name
like
in the show
so
is something. Treat yourself.
Yeah,
Rita, treat yourself. What's her name? Donna Meagle.
Donna, yeah.
I didn't look that up. I'm a genius.
Donna's a great
Give me another award.
Mike, we can see it in your glasses.
If you could take Donna and combine it with Ron Swanson, like, that's how I see Mississippi, just like towards the captain. And I think that she's somebody trying to be seen like she's doing a good job because she's a dog, so she's going to be definitely like abide by the Nothing Corporation. So she really not only has this falling out with the captain, but also doesn't like the way he does things either, because
but that's the thing, right?
She's a dog. She wants to do a good job for the Nothing Corporation, right?
Well, but
He's
crazily
probably doing it for treats, right? Like,
but crazily, but crazily, the captain, like, she's the captain's inspiration. Let us not forget, because the captain's theory is I gotta do something, and Mississippi was the one that said that first. You know what I mean? Like, back before the like circa, like in the prelude before this started, they're both chilling out on a beach, and the captain for a period of time is hanging out with Mississippi on a beach and is vibing. And Mississippi is like, I'm not a beach dog. I am like the savior of the universe dog. So I'm going to go off and do something with my life. And the captain has a breakup with Mississippi because he's like, no. Otherwise, he would just say, yeah, let's go save the universe again. But he doesn't, because they're broken up. So he goes off, and Mississippi goes off. I mean, she goes off and joins up with the Nothing Corporation, because that is like the process through which one would do something for the universe. And she's like risen up to be the head of dispatch in the shortest time ever.
Right.
She's a prodigy.
I'm gonna piggyback on what you're saying here, because it makes sense too, in the sense that she would they break up on the beach. She goes her own
Yep.
way because now she's sentient. Now
Mm-hmm.
she feels like that she can do more and should do more, and it's because of she's raised by the captain. You have to do something. So breaks up with the captain. I do think that she still begrudgingly doesn't like him because she doesn't like the way that he treats her like a dog in front of the other crewmates because then that takes away the respect. So
Mm-hmm.
I think there's this battle of power between them, but it's only on her
Yeah.
side in her head. And I think that she's working for the Nothing Corporation and she's getting paid in treats because she wants to be a good dog because she still has to have dog-like tendencies to make it funny. But I
Yeah.
think over time, because she's just recently sentient, she can't see the cracks in the way that the captain can in the economy of nothing because the captain's lived in it for longer than she has. So I think eventually Mississippi could be a part of the crew, like season 10 down the line or something, you know?
Yes,
Yeah,
I completely agree. Yes, totally.
the thing I'll say, like, and to wrap like with the dispatch too, is I think this like in the initial idea she was maybe like the like obviously they don't have a medical examiner, but I was like she works in the lab, right? She's the one in Law and Order who's in the lab, right? But like that's not really what we're
Like
doing.
the
So it does
computer girl or the
yeah,
coroner?
either one. I mean,
You
it's
know what I
kind of
mean?
you know screen time wise
Yeah,
and where
she's
they're seeing
doing
the
that
show.
role. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I do like the idea that like she could be she has a way to be a voice in like every episode,
You know what
right?
I think
Like
she is? I think I hate to bring up a reference that we haven't already talked about in the codex. I feel like she is that HBIC from Monsters Inc. I
Oh
think
yeah.
she's the
You
Monsters
didn't
Inc.
do your
HBIC.
paperwork. Don't
okay,
let it
Yes, yes,
happen
yes.
I
again.
need
And I think that she like at the end when the like all of like the main characters are like doing their thing, she's like, "Yeah, I already knew. I've been on this beat for 10 years." And it's like that I feel like is actually Mississippi where she's like, "Yeah, I was doing something, bitch. I was doing something in the background and you like have to like have the star power. But I've been here slaving away undermining this org or something like that because like maybe she's like ultimately still loyal to him. I don't know. I mean, she is a dog at the end of the day.
so
Sorry
I
that the
think
only woman we brought
no,
up in this show is a
no,
dog.
I brought up Cheyenne, but the thing that I took out that which is crazy that you said is one of the pieces of content I've thought about bringing for the content club is like, oh, maybe we should watch the introduction to Monsters Inc. Because like
Icon.
not as I went back and looked at it, because like I'm thinking about a thing where people go through a workspace and introduce each other to each other, and you get a feel for the space and the characters. And stuff. What
Yes.
does that world class? The opening of Monsters Inc. And then
Iconic.
if you look at, I mean, we could watch even before everyone kind of knows the idea, right? Is even before it starts with like that cold open of like what's actually happening. And I've been thinking a lot in like the
Of
storytelling,
how
like
they're scared. There's like a kid scared, right?
yeah, of like
Is that what you mean?
setting up stakes at the beginning of each episode, like showing the
Yeah.
space pirates like invading the cowboy planet or and stuff like this
Oh,
as
yeah.
like a cold, some sort of cold. But I don't know. This is stuff to figure out in the of like in time, like, or do we want to open with an action sequence for the captain and then that? Does it have to be the same in every episode? But we need to establish things in the first episode so we can break those conventions, which is part of the reason that like
Yeah.
by episode 5 we're going to spend time in the dispatch. So for the first 4 episodes, we need to like have established it as a location that we can then play around in, right? And characters we know.
Mm-hmm.
I I fall a little out of it, and I trust you. But I
That's
do
cool,
think
right?
that the the old narrating penguin I think should be
Oh,
also in dispatch, but
the
he is
cozy exposition penguin.
yeah,
For
and I think this
what?
is where no, hear me out, hear me out.
Oh, from the
I think
show? From what? Is it in
yeah,
the show, you mean? Oh, okay.
Wow,
yeah.
right.
Watch one of the videos once, Ryan.
Wow.
I've
Jeez.
never I try
economyofnothing.com/codex/creatures, I believe.
I
Yeah,
try not to
Yeah.
engage. I try to be the voice of the audience.
okay, okay.
Who's
All right.
unknowing, who doesn't
Who's
know
clueless?
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, clueless.
No.
Clueless, yeah.
Okay, yeah, so narrating old guy penguin, he has a very smooth voice, and I think this is how you pepper in our recording studio at Dispatch, and he's just the DJ and the announcer of the Nothing Corp. Like he'll be playing music sometimes, but then he'll be like, "Flight Crew 37, you are ready to board," and like, and
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah,
that
I
would
Mm-hmm.
make
like
sense why
that.
he would be doing general expositions on things or
And
like
and in the
narrative
and in the
storytelling.
in a voice in an economy of nothing, people valuing things in the wrong way. I like the idea that literally the only reason people are giving him this clout, like they're like, oh my, it's a penguin, because he literally is the guy that reads it in his voice. Like that's it. He's not
He's the
putting any
Morgan.
of these announcements
Yeah.
together. He's just reading it, right? And
Yeah.
like,
He's
but
the
like,
Morgan
Is he like
Freeman
that
of
movie
Penguin.
announcer? Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah. It's it's one of those things. It's not even. It's not that like he's not doing anything. It's like okay, but like when there's a problem at the Nothing Corporation, it like goes to him because he's the announcer. But he's just the announcer. He doesn't make the leaderboards or anything. But
I
like,
think that there
he's
should
like
be a
the,
I
he's
think
like
that
a
this is
ceremonial head or something, right? Or I don't know. Like, but like, there's
yes.
no such thing as ceremony or what? I don't know.
I think that when they go through their world, I think Mississippi is part of a conglomerate. She's part of the light orbit. She's part of the halo orbit of animals, which opposes the dark orbit, which is seeking the liberation of people because animals are oppressed in this world, obviously, because so few of them are sentient. That, like, the talking penguin and the talking dog, any talking creature is part of, like, a network that is seeking a similar
second-class
outcome
citizen.
of liberation. Exactly, yes. I think that that really works.
Well, and to get
because
more
also
into it-
Mississippi could be passing him things. I love a narrator. All of my favorite pieces of media have a narrator. That is so true. Hunter x Hunter, Into the Woods, the original Broadway play version, Hades Town, the original Broadway play.
I love
Narrator,
it when Ryan
narrator,
does
narrator.
lists.
I
never know
love a
anything on 'em.
narrator.
Oh,
I love a narrator. We should do a narrator. The penguin is genius. Mississippi should be feeding the penguin information. The penguin should be like in situ. What's that called? Like music that's ambient and you hear it and then like it cuts
Elevator
to it.
music. Elevator music.
No,
diegetic.
no. Diegetic. Oh my god, Mike remembered a word that I couldn't briefly.
Oh my goodness.
Diegetic.
Do
It's
I get
diegetic.
an award?
No. You get nothing.
No, I think that's I really
Genius.
like. No, I think everything's great, and I think that like we're like circling around it all so well that I think like what I want to bring together now is like a concept of like how these characters are like one of the characters, and then be like, oh, you see how this all just spreads, and these other things have to exist, and they have like we have to either think about them or go with them, kind of thing. Of like Clive Pierce-Jones. Have we talked about him at all? He's a member of the Dispatch. Right now, he's the IT specialist at the Dispatch. That means nothing. I had to give him a job. His importance to the story is that in the murder episode, the Dispatch murder episode, he's the killer. And he kills James Francis.
The administrator at Dispatch?
And part of the reason that many of these characters exist is so that
To be killed or to kill.
even from a basic point. Well, I can't just make up two characters to your Scooby-Doo part. Then who did it when we have our mystery episode, right?
Okay, so I see James Francis on the Economy of Nothing Codex /Humans page. He's a old fat guy with gray hair and a tie.
He's a
and
portly gentleman.
He's a portly gentleman. Kind of looks like if Porky Pig was a human. And
He's a
in
daddy.
his 50s,
This is
He's
rude.
he's the administrator at the Dispatch, and he looks like he's too nice. Like he's the Jerry here. He's the guy that like people walk all over. Like the guy that they ask him to do faxes and stuff. Like he has a lot of power, but he doesn't realize it, and people just take advantage of this guy. So it makes sense why he
Yeah.
would be.
He goes in the he goes into the he goes in the refrigerator to look for his lunch. He's like, guys, you took my sandwich again. Oh well.
All right, and so Clive Pierce-Jones looks like he's dressed as a Victorian vampire with black suave hair. He looks like a lady
The word
killer.
dandy has been used.
Yeah, a dandy. His role is an IT specialist at Dispatch, but I think the vibe he gives off is a guy that lied on his resume to get the job and doesn't do any work, and he's constantly shoving all his work onto James Francis.
He is an AI doing it all for him,
Yes,
and the
the
AI
motion-
kills James Francis because he discovers that that's the most efficient thing to do.
I had to get part of the reason he was AI. He was the IT guy is because in whatever draft of it's in my head, like it's shown as like an accident, and maybe like some guy was zapped by a computer, and then the captain then have to come in and be the ones to investigate because they were off planet or something. They were on a dispatch, so they're the like observers who can do it. But of course, it's also that we can do a parody of like a Midsummer Murder episode. So like he has to be British, and also the Dispatch has a food court that has just like full-size restaurants in it or something, because they need to sit outside of a British pub at some point.
Totally.
That's what I promised my mom. So we need to figure out how it works.
Wow,
Okay.
Mike
All right.
Badone has a mom.
Don't tell her I'm doing this.
No, I think that why
that
not
make any
Murder on the
sense?
Orient Express?
Yes.
That's something to parody.
Because my mom likes Midsummer Murders.
Ugh, I don't know what Midsummer Murders are, but Murder on the Orient Express is iconic.
I mean, no, I'm down with many other like mystery episodes. There's also a place talking about Scooby-Doo where I have an idea for them doing like a kind of like 60s murder mystery that's kind of done around a gas leak in the dispatch, and the Rangers have to solve the problem while the captain's going through this hallucination that's actually like him disassociating from Green getting shot in the previous episode or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I would like to add something here to Dispatch. And this
Okay.
is just me going through places, and I think that this would be an easy win for us as far as like referencing what we created. I remember that I think we all came to the conclusion that there is a restaurant that is everywhere in the economy of nothing like universe, and it's the Intergalactic House of Waffles. It's it's
That is
just
a
like it
popular
sounds.
restaurant in the Disney universe.
Originally a rogue franchise outpost, the Intergalactic House of Waffles gained notoriety after surviving multiple corporate acquisition attempts. It's secret. Everyone eats there: pirates, captains, diplomats, and smugglers. All know that once inside, you respect the waffle code. No fighting, no negotiating, just waffles. And I think that there should be like a mini
Absolutely.
franchise.
It's a little
of the-
Leslie note, but what do you want from me?
Yes.
yeah, but a little franchise of like Intergalactic House of Waffles stand in
Yes.
the Dispatch, right?
And
Like,
that's where
it-
they
it-
meet to
yeah,
discuss this murder because it's a safe haven.
over waffles, right?
Yeah, because they know no one can fuck with it.
So you guys do
Yeah,
not like
absolutely.
the idea of a food court that's a bunch of buildings that are
No, I think it's just a food
That's
court
fine
of,
too.
of
I mean,
it's just an Intergalactic House of Waffles at Dispatch, because that's all there is. That's all.
but it could be a food court that's like a ring of build. I
Do
don't- I
they
don't
serve?
care.
Do
I
they
care?
serve beer?
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Green has to drink a beer, and has to say that he's not driving because they're
It could be a
working at the Dispatch
pub.
today.
Yeah, I mean, whatever.
I mean,
it's
there
fine.
there
It
could
a
be there
pub.
could be
Who
there could be
cares?
multiple.
Of course, he
restaurants.
doesn't
I
have
just-
to do any of that. I'm just messing around.
I'm
but,
just
like, it's,
saying it'd be an easy win for us because we totally made that up and we put it on
okay,
the website. and-
I think
yeah.
we can totally mock up. I'm definitely thinking about mocking up this, like at least this food court idea. I think
Yeah.
another
Or it could be
question-
sponsored by the International House of Waffles too. I'm thinking of like everyone. I don't know why, but I'm picturing there's,
another
like, a
restaurant
bunch-
sponsored by a second restaurant. This is
Well, if they all go
brought
to the
you
food-
by the International
But like,
House of
imagine
Pancakes.
if they're all like racing towards the food court because like as soon as you're in the food court, bounds. Maybe the International House of
I
Waffles
mean, you
is just
eat
one of
based
the
on
places.
your leaderboard status or something, right? Like,
Well,
or no? you don't think
here's what
so?
I'm thinking. I mean, like you could if you want to have every single thing be like a gamified, commodified reward, then you could.
I
Then you
mean,
could.
I haven't been to the distant future, but it doesn't seem out of the realm of possibility.
But I think the most important thing is like the character dynamics when I'm imagining that I'm kind of thinking of it as Into the Spider-Verse. I know that's a movie that has a hotly contested history between Mike Badone and I. But like there's a movie, we can add it to the list. There's a movie where a bunch of Spider-Men are all in one hub and they all have different perspectives on shit and they have competing interests and blah blah blah. And there's a lot of dynamics there that I think could exist within the Dispatch where there are people that are like, yeah, fuck this. I'm just working here. And there are people that are really hardcore. There are people that think it's like outsiders who did it. There are people that think it's insiders that did it. I think this like murder at the Dispatch idea is really intriguing, but it's more interesting to me if like Mr. Green is also a suspect. If the kids are also a suspect, although I don't know, like maybe it was an accident and it's like if everyone gets called into question that they could have done it, it's like really compelling in a way.
I think part of the problem is that like we just like there is no way to make this show and also like have the audience believe that one of our guys did it. We can have the setup
But
of
by
the episode be,
accident, by accident.
we could have the setup be that like, oh, are they going to be found guilty of a thing they didn't do? But like the audience, I just feel like we're not making a show where the audience is going to be like, did we have the Rangers or Mr. Green murdered the administrator off screen? I don't think so, right?
Well,
Like,
then I feel like I'm imagining already the scene with Mr. Green, not to just keep interjecting, but I'm imagining a
oh,
scene with
cool.
Mr. Green where he's like, "Bro, you know I would kill him if I thought I needed to, but I didn't. I swear."
Okay.
You know?
Just for content creation sake for Mike Padone, I would like to talk about just do a recap of what we discussed. What's currently at dispatch. We know that Mississippi,
Okay.
um, aka uh,
A dog.
Captain Tracy's
No.
dog, that's no longer his dog. His role is an intelligent dog that works at the Northcutt Corporation, and then we have CEP, which is the old sounding penguin that narrates. He is the radio slash dispatch, comms guy, like loudspeakers. Um, and he was once on the chair of the Antarctic Guild, so he's also there. We know that the internet places. We know that there's an intergalactic house of waffles inside the food court at dispatch. We also know that
There's a locker
James
room.
Francis, the Porky Pig old guy with the gray hair, and he's the administrator of the dispatch, but he's overworked, and he's a bad manager because he just does everybody's work. So he's always overworked. He's
And
there.
he's
Then there's
dead.
Clive Pierce-Jones, who looks like a Victorian vampire, slick looking
Dorian
guy,
Gray.
Dorian Gray, kind of dandy. He's the IT specialist at
Dandy.
Dispatch, and he literally doesn't do his job. He lied on his resume, and he is just a guy all about looks and conning his way to the top. And that's one of the reasons why James Francis is stressed out. Then we have Tallulah, which we haven't talked about yet. Her role is the reception at Dispatch, and currently she looks like a I would just say an Asian gilf.
So
She's
there's
Asian with gray hair. She looks hot. I'd totally bang her. Now is she like
so
going to
so like this is
be
this is where we get into the fact like when we talk about like, well, there need to be other characters, and she was originally the receptionist, right? But I like the idea of you guys have pitched about Mississippi kind of moving to the receptionist role. So now we need other characters for the dispatch. So we probably shouldn't throw out someone who has a character design and like a look and some backstory. We're probably like, oh, well, maybe she can be a sales associate or something. Or we could just hold her over and be like, we have a character design for someone when we need someone to do
I
something.
think
Do you know what I mean?
Tallulah reminds me of someone in HR. Like she would be like your local HR rep. And
Mm.
I mean, we can save that in our back pocket because the things that get you in trouble in the economy of nothing at a nothing corporation. I don't know what that is yet, but I think it could be some funny
Yeah.
stuff. But she does
And
look like
I,
she's very kind and would deliver harsh news well.
And I think what like one of the things, and I think maybe this will be like a thing for me to do for you guys next time, so we can like really flesh this out. Is maybe just like really like trying to like nail down for you guys so you can see it. Maybe I'll draw a picture or something. It's
Mm-hmm.
like the geography that I have in my head, and I think compared with the thing
Really?
from
Geography?
from Monsters Inc. of like there are locations where these interactions are designed to happen, right? Like there's the
That's
entryway
crazy.
where they could somewhat run into anyone, right? And then there's like the office park where it's like mostly just the crews, but you wouldn't run into like the dispatch workers and stuff, right? And then of course there's the locker room, which would be just like it's a locker room in the visualization, but it's more thought of as like some sort of ready room where it would be like exclusively like the people about to go out on missions could have a moment of interaction, right? And like,
Uh-huh.
of course, Mike, to talk about scrubs and stuff before, like there's two towers, there's extra floors in the middle, there's plenty of elevator time, and part of the reason, besides some metaphors and stuff, like there's like just ideas of like, oh, you have to turn one thing on at the top of this one tower, and then the part of its due at the other side of the tower, right? Like just like the things that need to be done are on the opposite side of the tallest way possible. Is just like a design aesthetic, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Can we do I would like to have some very unique elevator music at Dispatch. To the point where at the very beginning, when you hear it, you like it. But as the seasons goes on, it slowly drives you crazy. I don't know what that sound is, but there is an elevator. I basically want the equivalent of elevator music that is, and I would walk
I
500
I
miles
think
an
I know what
hour.
it is. There
I
was
mean,
Okay.
this
that is the
there
perfect example, though. I have to be
there was
like
this program called
ideal.
it probably still exists or whatever. It was called Uber Conference, and for a while, it had like a custom made like song that played like instead of like it was a song that sang about how you were waiting on hold, and it was enough to drive someone. It was like I'm sitting here waiting for this call to come through, like and like. The only thing you think when I say is like, what is a thing that could do that? Every single time they get on the elevator, it's an upbeat tune about riding on a fucking elevator.
Yeah, and it's like, I'm riding on this elevator to the 10th floor.
Be
Will I
sure
get
to
there
keep your hands
fast?
inside the elevator. Like it's like a safety instructional video that like they've marketed to hell that you have to watch every single time you're on the elevator, right?
Yeah, so
Like,
because it's the economy of nothing, they don't want to get sued over any little things. So they just you can't sue us because like you had to follow the
yeah.
safety thing.
And
Just
you
blare
complain
it.
about it like, what do you mean? It's today's top pop artists covering their
Mm.
favorite song. You know what I mean? And like,
It's like,
So it's
I'm
definitely a version of like the airplane welcome where everyone like plugs in and then you have to be like, okay, oxygen mask will drop from
okay.
above.
before the elevator
I'm
starts.
gonna I'm
But
gonna
it's
try
like
to
a song, I
I'm gonna try
agree.
to freestyle it real quick. It's like,
Wow, okay.
welcome.
Do you need a
All
Okay.
right,
beatbox?
yeah,
We
I
can't do
got
it.
it. I got it.
It's too confusing.
Welcome to the Nothing Corpse elevators. Trying not to hit all the buttons. There are a lot of floors. I hope there's no kids, cause we'll be on here for a while if they hit all the buttons. Sorry, that was bad.
Nice.
Do do
Mike,
do 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 do
consider the
do
song
do
inserted,
do.
right?
Okay.
Like,
That
Yeah,
is
yeah.
really
I'm
good.
not entirely sure, like, in the time allotted that I would be able to match up your audio to like a track I made, but I'll make like I'll have like some like AI chorus like sing that or some shit. We can do that.
But I think the
Love it.
other thing is that it should like be delightful the first time you hear it, and
Oh
the
yeah,
second time you hear it, you're like, oh yeah. Because I will
I have a
say,
specific beat in mind.
oh,
All
well, I
right.
mean, say no more. What is it?
Yeah.
White,
It's a
Ryan
song.
Dirty?
It's no. It's called Sippo the Hippo. It's a song I wrote.
I don't want to
It's
hear any more from
it's
your
about my
sick
fat dog.
mind. I don't want to hear any more
And
from it.
imagine a song that rhymes Sippo and Hippo over and over and over again. And then imagine that beat being anything rhymed over and over to itself.
Yes. Yes.
But
And if we could throw a ocarina sound in there, that'd be great too.
okay, maybe all right. So
Ocarina.
Mike, here we go. Like let's build something. Okay. Tell me as specific a thing as you want. Give me examples of
Okay.
like
I
what
think
other songs you're
okay.
thinking of.
Well, first
500
off,
miles.
so I think I would walk 500 miles, but with an ocarina, like Legend of Zelda style tune, like like the
Okay.
when you're playing Legend of Zelda and you have to go in that tomb where it takes you back in time, and it's like doo-doo, and you play that one
Whole
song,
time.
but like every time you play it, it's cool, but it's also annoying.
Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun,
Right.
dun, dun-dun-dun-dun, dun.
But
Okay.
but but also it has
Please push
to be
the button on the
yeah, the
elevator. If
elevator.
you push it too fast, the thing might stop.
If you
Just push
press too many
it.
buttons, you're gonna be on here a while. We have a lot of
Oh, that's
employees
annoying.
coming and going, so make sure you hit your floor, and also be mindful of people having to get off the elevator and move
It
out of the
won't
way when they
stop.
come on. And
But
also,
also, could there be a thing where, like, when you're in the elevator, if you like press the door close button at the right time, it like skips the floor? So then there could be a fight in the elevator where they're trying to like skip or open the floor, like the door, but they can't make it. It's like Captain America, the elevator scene, but instead of just like one ride, it's like the captain who's like keeps trying to hit the button at the right time, but like someone else is just like fighting him.
yeah,
Just
but then
like miss the
the
floors.
music would have to change. It's like,
Yeah, exactly. And the
please,
music
we
is like,
advise no hitting
Yeah.
on an elevator. It's a very
And
tight
of
space.
course, there
You
aren't
get in.
enough elevators. They
yes,
don't fit enough
exactly. Oh my
people. You know what I
god.
mean? Yeah.
Well, I like the
Oh,
idea of the
incredible.
elevator also. I know you guys are like riffing about the song still, but I do like the idea of the elevator
Ideally.
because you're in space. So you could just fly to the right floor outside. You could just
I mean,
enter.
the entire concept of the dispatch is a job that is a gig economy jobs that could easily be done on your phone if they need to be done at all, but instead you have to come and do only things that exclusively have to be done in the office, but don't need to be because you could have done the whole thing on your phone, right? Like it's like reporting to an app. You're reporting to Uber.
And I
You have to
have to
drive
say,
there before you can go drive people.
there must be one of these characters has to be converted into an elevator attendant. Imagine like the elevator attendant
The
is
worst
there the whole
dispatch
time.
of the week. If you're the lowest person
an
and you're
elevator
not getting
attendant.
fired, you have to work and you get the worst reviews because you won't stop
And
playing
it's just
the music,
always this
despite
guy.
the fact that you can't do anything.
And it's
about
always this guy. Imagine you're like the captain is fighting someone in the elevator, and like there's just a guy sitting there in the corner on his stool who's been the worst at dispatch for the last 72 years. He's just like, fucking hell. And then the fight is happening around him. He just like doesn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
And then they just reach their stop. He's like, "You're here."
If
And
he
then hits the button
diverts
for you.
from the exact prescribed thing, he's going to get fired. The captain's like, we're in a rush. He's like, no,
Yeah.
it must play. Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly,
Like-
and he's like humming along kind of because he's like so defeated.
Well, I think that
That's
I think
such a
that
good
person
character.
loses their mind eventually. Like that person.
Yeah. This person is
crazier.
psychotic.
Yeah, it gets
Yeah.
crazy
Because there's
but
a fight
somehow
breaking out in the
they're
elevator.
the
and he
most
doesn't
sane
notice.
man because they see exactly what's happening.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
They're
basically
the smartest
you.
man
Like,
in the
so-
dispatch
so
because they
it's the
watch every
captain.
idiot ride
No,
up
no,
every
no.
day.
So
Okay,
it's
so
the
the-
captain.
No. Hear me out.
No, some people know things that the captain don't, right?
Hear me
Maybe
out. He's we call him. He's the elevator attendant, and he has his own little booth in the elevator. That's a little small room that he just stands in. And over time, he starts to look crazier and crazier and crazier. Like he starts crazier, but like he just gets crazier as he works there. And we call him the Oracle. He's the Oracle of the Nothing Court because he knows all the comings and goings. He knows all the little secrets that are said, but he can't if he basically ends up over time living his life in this elevator because the music has like hypnotized him where he can't leave because when he leaves and he doesn't hear the music, he gets like crippling anxiety and
Have you guys ever
Exactly.
seen
He can't-
Waterworld?
Yeah, he can't do it on demand. That's crazy.
Have you ever seen
Waterworld?
Waterworld?
No.
Yeah, I've seen bits
Uh,
and pieces.
All right, so there's a bit at some point, and there's a guy that like lives on a boat in the
I
bottom. of
know
the
what you're
tanker.
about to say. A grenade falls in, and he's like, "Oh, thank God!" Right? And then it
And he
just blows
I
up.
mean,
Dies?
just as this guy who's like, yeah, this is just his like. That's just what that guy
No.
does in that movie, right? Like,
No,
you
I
know
don't
what
want him
mean?
to
Until he
die.
dies.
I don't want him to
think he has
die.
think
I
he's
just
a
want him.
hero,
I want
honestly.
him to have
These
a little
elevators wouldn't
booth.
move without him. You
I
know?
want him to have a little booth, and I want him to have a little, like, maybe a permeable barrier. Like, it could be some kind of crazy technology, or it could just be, like, a window that he just opens up, like, at a car park.
like a
and then he just, like,
CVS
presses
little-
the button. Yeah, he just presses the button when it needs to be pressed, but, like, he will not press it otherwise. And maybe even the captain tries to, like, reach, and he's almost successful one time, and the guy, like,
You
slaps
have
his
to
hand away
push the
because he
push
hasn't reached
button
the right
button
stop.
to get the guy to push the button, obviously, right?
I think we also
You have to
greased-
push the call
like,
elevator button in the thing to call the guy to call the elevator, right?
Yes.
That's the only way this
Well,
works.
but the guy, like, once the guy,
But he's
like
riding
Alan
the
has
other
said-
elevator. What do you mean we have two elevators? Why aren't they both
hear me,
running
hear
at
me
the
out.
same time?
Hear me out. Hear me out.
No.
No, stop. First off, I love that he's in a booth, and I love that he starts to
Exactly.
live in this elevator. And I think one of
Yes.
the ways that we get him on our side is like we're always
Mhm.
going out and doing the crazy missions, and Mr. Green's always getting stuff to salvage. And I think there'd be a fun relationship with Mr. Green having to let go of the items that he salvaged because the captain's like, we got to give him something, and he's not going to leave this elevator, so it's got to be something that he would want to have, and that's
that
how
he
we
could
get
not get.
information from him. Yeah, because he
Yeah,
can't leave.
I love
Yeah.
this as a green thing, right? As Green being like, no, this is how it gets done, and the captain's like, no, he should either take me to the floor because it needs to be done, or he should realize blah blah blah. And Green's like, yeah, or I could just give him this Tamagotchi. It could even be a moment of like comeuppance for the captain of like, Green, why have you been collecting all this dumb bullshit? And he's like, because it's been getting us up the fucking elevator faster every day, asshole. Right? You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah. Welcome.
I really like this idea, and I like the idea that the kid does it even better. I think that one of the kids, like Mr. Green, is like, "Oh, always make sure you have a gift for the elevator guy," and then the elevator guy is like You kid, you have had a gift for me every time I've ever seen you in my life, so you get the golden ticket, like that version of
When
it,
they
you know?
finally need the elevator,
Yeah.
it's
Yes,
because
and
like
it's like,
because
well, I think
and
because
he
it
wasn't
has
just
to be
picking he
about
was
the
picking things the
kids.
guy wanted. The guy didn't know what he wanted, but
Yes,
Alex took the time to get to know him and was like giving him
yes,
like meaningful
yes, better
gifts.
and
And when
better
it
shit.
mattered, it mattered,
Exactly. And
right?
like Mr. Green is the one that
Yeah.
like told him and like did it. And he was the one that like started the trend and did it. But like Mr. Green had a few times where he didn't give the guy a gift, but he was like, just always give him something. Like always give this guy something. And then when it comes through, the elevator guy's like, Alex, for you, dink. Oh, the audience can't see me. Dink.
Yeah.
And like gives them exactly wherever
And
they
then
need to go.
he opens a hidden window in his booth where his
And it
bunk
has
is
a
also at.
bazooka.
And no, and it's a little slide thing, and it's a hand crank that like and he rips it, and that just goes
Ooh.
maximum speed. And that's when you find out that this guy has just been effing with us, effing with everyone at the Nothing Corporation the whole time because he's
Mm-hmm.
trapped here. He's very mad at them for making him work in this elevator where he's lost his mind, where he can't even leave it
That's
because of the
so good.
song.
Right.
I think that's so good. What I want to say is that I think that's such a genius character idea, and I do like where we went with it. So maybe my idea I'm about to say is not as efficacious. But when we were talking about Tallulah,
Here's your
what I was
reward.
what? Thank you. When I was thinking, when I was hearing about Tallulah, what I was thinking of, like Mike Allen said that, oh, she's the HR girl, she's blah blah blah, she's someone who could like give it to you like straight, give it to you nice,
All the
whatever, give it
racist
to you,
things.
give it to you gay. She could give it to you straight, she could give it to you bi, she could give it to you lesbian. And I think that what I was thinking about with, I know this is a reference that we haven't covered yet, but there's a character on Star Trek called Deanna
Yeah.
Troy. Long story short, she's like an empath. She can kind of like sense people's feelings. And I was wondering if that's as far as my Tallulah idea went. But I was wondering if each of these, per the Scooby Doo conversation, per the Shrek conversation, if like I think that there is a reliance on like the Uberification model of the economy where it's like we're disruptive. We're like Uber meets food, which is just Uber Eats
Yeah.
right now. But you know, like that idea of like we're Uber meets Amazon.
I mean,
We're
everything's
Uber
something meets
yoga.
something. Nothing's a whole new idea.
But that was like I don't want to be too stuck on that because I think it could be restrictive and like um degrading. But I do think like Tallulah, I'm just curious if we conceptualize these characters as being like, oh, it's Diana Troy. Like imagine a therapist or an HR person who's an empath, like literally I don't mean like I'm an empath, like your horoscope,
You're
but I mean like
imagining
literally
it right now, Ryan.
what I mean, like literally an empath who feels people's emotions very deeply. So whoever she speaks to last at the corporation, i.e., like the Nothing org, the HR at the Nothing org they have, is someone who's like so overwhelmed by emotions of the person in front of her that she just agrees with them. And then the next person, she's agreeing with them. The next person, she's agreeing with them because she's an empath. So it's kind of like Diana Troy, but off the rails. I wonder if there's some
Man,
kind of like
Ryan.
No,
character
I like
idea
the
here.
idea. I like the idea that like even a like that at the Nothing Corporation, even someone like perfectly positioned to do the thing, like
Yeah.
can't do like you have an empath to talk about people's HR
Yes.
problems, but you're refusing to have the HR structure that can like benefit from an empath being your HR representative, right? Like
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you got to go by the book, and she's like, "But I really understand their struggle, and I'd like to help
Hmm.
them and get them further,
like the book says guess what
therapy
they're
or
feeling,
stuff."
but I know exactly what they're feeling, right?
Yeah,
Like,
right,
Yeah.
or whatever,
right.
right?
She's like, "And I know how I can help them, and if it costs any amount of money, Nothing Corporation's like, no, just give her the book answer," and that
Well,
she hates it because I mean, eventually, everybody, the goal of every character that's going to be a recurring character is that they
mhm.
get behind
have
the
their
captain and the
have
crew.
their own rebellion inside of them.
Well, but
Yeah,
that's the thing is
yeah.
like eventually Tallulah like she goes to report her HR whatever to the person above her, and that person is like, "Fuck it, just like whatever's easiest," and then she feels that feeling, so she does that feeling.
She's in
So
taking
like,
the empathy of the people, the apathy of the people
yes,
above her, right?
yes, exactly.
In
It's
with
like this.
yeah.
Yes, it's like this
So
apathetic feeling so that she can always be genuine and everyone can always feel like accommodated by her. But like the captain or Mr. Green or like Cheyenne, even, I'm thinking the kids are like, oh, she like really understood me. But they're like, she doesn't fucking understand you. Like, nothing will come of it.
Mike Allen.
okay. Thank you. Um, I would just like to say that I think this is a good time to bring up my thought process on this. And it's like these side characters, you have the guy who's in the elevator. Now you have Tallulah, who's HR.
Hmm.
And then you have the crews, right? If you really
Yeah.
think about it, the crews are kind of like the sales guys, and sales guys in any organization they get a lot more freedom than anyone else in the organization. And I think what the Nothing Corporation
Hmm.
has figured out is how to psychologically create like their workers to be NPCs, and that's why they get stuck. And like the elevator guy gets stuck because of the music and he can't leave and he has too much
Hmm.
anxiety and now his life is the Nothing Corporation. And then the HR lady is like she's an empath, but like she could actually do better, but that's how they keep her as an NPC is because she has to follow these rules and regulation or get fired. And there's nowhere else to work, so she has to do it, but she can't actually help anyone. So she's stuck in her own like nothing hell and becomes
Yeah.
an NPC. And I think it we always talk about NPCs being non-player characters in the world that give very general answers, but if you want to extract that out to the real world, what is an
Hmm.
NPC? It's somebody who's complacent, somebody who doesn't want to change, somebody who wants to do things they've always done it. And I think this would be kind of a different take on an NPC. It's like nobody wants to be an NPC, but you're making us be NPCs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. And
Yeah.
until we and like to go like even more meta, right? So like if when I've talked about this being like us maybe like trying to do like role play sessions, or right, we want to make these characters that we want to play in those sessions, right? We don't want to be like, oh, do I have to be Tallulah? She's boring, right? Because then it's boring for us to do, and then it would have to be boring for people to engage with, right? Like the
Hmm.
first thing you have to do is make something that's interesting to yourself, right? Like
Hmm.
not to how much of the Joe Rogan podcast has Joe Rogan watched?
Probably
I
none.
just want our fans. I want our fans to know that when we started 29 seasons ago, 30 seasons ago, Mike did not talk to me so much about this role playing, and he's really into role playing, I guess. So we did
Well,
not
the
agree to
shirt's
that when we
off.
signed on. We did not agree to that when we signed on, but the shirt's off, the hats are on, so we got to do what we got to do.
We're
Um,
playing
The hat on a
now.
hat.
I like the idea. I like the idea that I think y'all are right. I like the idea, and I'm thinking about my own current
There's an
life.
award.
Well, for one version, people don't know this, and I'm not going to get into it now, but Mike Allen just described like partially a conflict of my own personal life and Mike Badon's at this very moment. But I do like the idea of a character that is like deeply invested in the corporation when they're at the corporation and then like is literally a rebel outside of it. And this person sees like a perfect line. They're like, yeah, I'm on the clock. I'm doing my job. I'm helping out the Nothing Corp when I'm on the clock. But then when they go, they're like a rebel. And I like per what you said, Mike Allen, about how like Tallulah is kind of her own like has her own rebellion brewing, and the elevator guy has his own rebellion brewing. Because I think that we're kind of talking about the steeds right now of the captain and the allies that the captain might find or not find at dispatch. And I think that
Yeah.
that's like what's most important, frankly, about
And,
this
from a
dispatch
deep
episode or
level of
in general.
storytelling on the show, right? Like the investigation I want us to do, if like we don't have to keep using the word meta, we can use whatever word anyone wants to use. I don't care,
Let's
right?
call it
It,
Facebook.
all right. So like the Facebook of all of this, the Facebook level of everything, right? Is that
Let's
sorry.
just call it meta.
Yeah, like the meta level of all of this is right. Like,
Hmm.
let's investigate the
Yeah.
ways in which we see failures in things now, and like we're not trying to make a direct compilation to things, but like what could possibly be going through someone's head that is doing a thing that is objectively not a thing they should be doing, and like they know that, and you can tell them that, but they'll make you have to tell them that in a way that they already know. So
Well,
like
but it's not
what is this?
objective.
What are
It's
people valuing? I'm saying that people are valuing
yeah,
nothing. I'm saying we have an economy of nothing, and people
yeah.
can point to assets here and there, but like they can't point to why they're spending $20 on this and $20 on that if $20 is $20, right?
But I don't think about it as I think about it more, I should say, in the terms of masks. Like, I think that the captain has a great privilege of being the lead character of the story, but he also has the great privilege of being like always a rebel once he gets to being a rebel, right? But like the elevator guy, has to, and this is Mr. Green's point. Like,
Yeah.
this is the point of
We
Mr.
can
Green,
see the
in my
captain's
view.
previous character arc through his interactions with these people that need to go through similar things.
Yes, exactly. But like Mr. Green can be a rebel at some points, right? Like he can entertain rebellion when they're on a fantasy planet or a cowboy planet or a
I think it
casino
would be
planet.
safe
But
to say-
Mr. Green has to bring home the fucking bacon or his family, let's say, dies. Like they don't eat, they don't have a housing, they don't have blah blah blah. Like maybe they're like they live on a top like a planet that has like acid rain. So like, oh, you need to have certain upkeep. Whatever, you know what I mean? Like there's like some kind of restriction here where it's like, oh, if I don't have like my 50 shekels for this month, my family has to leave the planet or like we're homeless.
Because of the
restriction, and
way
the
the
captain can
distant
be
future
pure.
is, the captain has the privilege of like, while it's not useful in like this story as he's trying to do the rebellion, right? Like the captain is able to monetize their, while he doesn't
His
get credit
fame.
for he's able to monetize his fame more than Mr. Green. No one believes this alien or whatever, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you're going to bring someone up, it's going to be the captain, right? And the captain usually lets Mr. Green do it because he knows of Mr. Green's stuff, which is why in episode 11 or whatever, when the captain has to do it, it's because Mr. Green's like incapacitated. And he's really like, if I go up here and do this, that is for nothing. But Green does it for these, like he's having to like ingest Green's actual shit into himself, right? And like where he feels about it.
And a great kind of, it's not metaphor, analogy to that would be, there's an episode of American Dad where Roger gets sick, like really sick. That Roger's the alien, and he's that zany alien that has a bunch of personas. And so Stan offers to, Roger the alien. He's like, "Hey, I'll just do all your work for a week. You take some time and get better." So it's just Stan running around in different Roger costumes, having to play very dumb roles for him, to the point where he just gets so fed up. He's like, "Why the fuck am I doing this?" And then he quits, right?
Yeah.
And to kind of bring it back, like in that episode with the captain, he's having to learn, and like take the zany part out. He's having to learn why Mr. Green does it. And he's
Yeah,
starting to see the value in it and why maybe not all of it, but some of it is important.
Yeah, absolutely, right. It's a at certain points, like the captain's like viewpoint has to be challenged by like putting him in other people's shoes, right? Like he cannot, like he does not work as a character if like he's not tested, right? But like he also doesn't work as a character if the like threats aren't like existential, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. If it's not like Green knows what the right thing to do, and like there's like higher levels to it of like, oh, but like the captain probably thinks that the reason he can't pull off the Green thing the way Green is because he's not spending all day being Mr. Green thinking about a better way for Mr. Green to do it. He can only do it for himself and then generalize for other people, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I want to also say, I think that's where like Cheyenne or any other character, it doesn't have to be her, although I am the president of the fan club.
But it always
comes
can
in.
be, to be clear.
But if she has to be taking the spotlight, then I guess we have to do it. No, but I think this is to me where if there's a conflict between the three of them, and let's say in some scenario, Cheyenne is like, "Look, bro, like if you don't do this, like if you don't do X, then the Nothing Corporation is gonna put a fucking bounty out on your head, right?" Then Mr. Green would be like, "Let's just do X," because he has competing interests per what you said about doing the right thing. I mean, like doing the right thing, doing the morally correct thing. There are competing interests that Mr. Green faces because Mr. Green is the role of like revolutionary or do-gooder, let's say, as part of this crew, but he also has to pay for his family to survive. Like in terms of what capitalism does,
like the
too.
captain hasn't thought about like the real, like we have to bring him also to like the real practical realities of like we need to have these like things be like so like specific threat of like, no, captain, like the captain would say something like, yeah, who are they going to send after me on that bounty, right? And then Mr. Green has to go, the Rangers
Everyone.
can't avoid all the bounty hunters. Like, do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, what are
Yeah.
you talking about, right? And the guy's like, yeah,
Yeah.
well, if we put the Rangers in the right place, and he's like, they're kids. They have to do something tomorrow, dude. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, or something, or
Yeah.
whatever Mr. Green might
Yeah.
say.
Yeah,
you
no,
know?
literally.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think in general that the captain, his initial reaction to everything is how does it affect him, whereas Mr. Green's constantly reminding him is like it doesn't just affect you.
Yeah. And
You know, I
it's the
think that's
captain trying to get out of
yeah.
his own way of being like, no, don't you understand? If I fix everything, it fixes everything. It's like, no, that's the same problem as like that's in the same neighborhood as like this idea of like participating in the system will fix the system, right? Be like trying to say that like somehow like an overarching positive change can make up for a direct negative you've done or something like that, right?
Well, right,
Which,
and I
like,
mean, and
is a
and,
value
like,
question
just
people aren't
just
asking
just
themselves.
just hear me out. Let's take it way back to the beginning. The whole reason that the captain is even working alongside Green is because Green's been working the job while you've been on retirement. So you come back in, things naturally change. And I think
Yeah.
that's a conversation that happens throughout the show. It's just like, man, when they had this elevator guy, it's like I told you things got worse since you left. It's like they're trying to keep people here. And like so it pisses you off as a character, and you know that you could solve it today. But Green is the guy being like, "I get it, man. I understand, but like, I brought you on. You do that. I don't have credits for my family. I can't feed them." And it's like the Rangers don't have a career, and
Yeah.
they're your nephews. Like, it's like
Yeah.
you could solve it today, but like Mr. Green's approach is like, we're gonna beat it by threading the needle, which is the hardest part, by
Yeah.
participating and also taking them down. It's like we're in
Yeah.
like Mr. Green teaches like we're a mole in the system and we're gonna change the system. Where you're
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
I could change the system right now. And
Yeah,
Well,
it's
I
that
think
right.
that's the
constant
thing
Like
that
this,
fight.
Mr.
like
Yeah.
Like in very much the opposite of like kind of the way their outward personalities are, right? Like Mr. Green is talking about using like a scalpel, and like the captain's talking about using a machete, right? Do you know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yes.
Despite the
Yes.
way that the captain wants to speak more high-mindedly, the captain's like, nah. Let's come on my best day, and they ain't got me, right? And the
Yeah.
captain's
And
like,
then
let's think about
right.
other people's day and stuff.
Right.
In today, not in is their tomorrow going to be better? It's
No,
like,
a
is there
hun-
a tomorrow for them with the way you're acting today?
exactly. And then over time, the elevator guy, you get to know him. You understand his struggle. You know, Tallulah, the HR rep, like you think she's annoying and unneeded, right? Like, but like after a while, you're like, oh, like not only does the audience understand their struggle, but by you understanding her
You
struggle,
see the
the
function?
audience gets to understand it. Yeah,
The function they're trying to serve, the ways they can't serve the function they're trying to do, in the way that like even a good like minded person can be ground down by like their proper actions not being even acknowledged, much less reward. Like she's probably not rewarded for the number of HR complaints she finds, right? Because it's like more paperwork for her and more people being like, well, why'd you say this was that and not this? It's probably easier to just say, hey, you were really listened to and move on, right? And she
yeah,
can
that's
tell them
just like
exactly what they want to hear because she knows their emotions, right? So it's
right.
easy for her to not do her job well, right?
Yeah, she's like she could help people, but she doesn't because the Nothing Corporation doesn't actually want to help these people. They just want to get them back in line. But everybody's coming to them with these existential crises. Like I feel like an NPC. Like I can't leave. I feel like I want to stay here, but I know I don't want to stay here. But I feel like I can't leave. And it's like every employee has something that's fucking with them. It's either an internal struggle or like a psychological song or something that keeps people in their place. And I think that's really interesting from like any secondary character or third character in the show, however deep you want to go with it. But like it's the same reason why Mississippi is like I want to do good, but also like I want to get treats and be a good girl, and get my
Yeah.
pets from the North Carolina. Like everybody's got their
I mean,
thing.
she figured out what being a good girl was from humans telling her what wasn't and was being a good girl, right? Like,
Hmm. So
which
it's
maybe
just
now
like
that she's a
everybody's
sentient dog, she has,
struggle.
like it's very easy for her to realize that like, oh, what she doesn't want is like the agreement to like sit on the beach anymore because she's not just like a dumb dog, but like she hasn't considered what she wants she knows what she doesn't want, but she doesn't know what she wants, and like that's the story of everyone in the show, right? Mr. Green is aware that he needs something, and like as we talk about in like the sillier things of trinkets, and as those get like more fleshed out, like it's clear people are looking for something, and I think Cheyenne's real thing is like her kind of commitment to the fact that she couldn't possibly be looking for anything, right? What do you mean? She's pretty sure she's got it figured out, and if she sticks to it, like this is the answer. What do you know what I mean? Like something like that.
Yeah, I think
Right.
Cheyenne.
Ryan, I don't want to, I don't want
I
to
don't
go
want
for
to
everybody. I
speak
feel like
for
Ryan hasn't
Cheyenne,
gotten a
but
chance to.
I would like to speak for Cheyenne for a second, then Cheyenne can speak.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
A man
Mike.
speaking for a woman.
Wow, we are taking away that father
That's
award. You
sick
have a
in the
daughter.
head.
Wow.
First off,
Yeah, go ahead.
anyway,
There are
I
no
was just
women
gonna-
on this podcast.
I was just gonna say that Cheyenne. It's very clear that Cheyenne is power hungry, but she also wants to do good. But the way that Cheyenne justifies her means is her struggle. Because what do we know? She has unpaid interns. So like she also has an orphanage, right? But like she gets a lot of those unpaid interns from her orphanage. But and it builds power, and she's doing good in the world. But like she's also robbing these kids of their youth.
Some call it a
what they
pyramid
actually wanna
scheme.
do.
I mean, someone might say she's like grooming them, right? She's pulling them out of the orphanages
That's
and telling
fucked
them the
up.
best.
No.
I know Cheyenne wouldn't say she's grooming them, but maybe the captain.
No.
would have thoughts.
I'm sorry. I do have to draw the line at like grooming is like a sexual term these days. She's not.
Yeah. I mean, he is right.
Literally, that's crazy.
I'm pretty sure that you said there's no proof that she's not having sex with the interns on a previous episode.
Well, the adult ones.
Well,
okay.
all
So once
adult.
they're an adult, you didn't groom them. Anyway, continue, Ryan.
Mike is sick in the head, folks.
Oh, I'm thinking
Sound off
that.
in
Yeah,
the
that's what's
comments
happening
below.
here. Anyway,
Okay, keep
continue,
going.
Ryan.
Mike Allen was talking.
Oh, I thought Cheyenne wanted to speak for Cheyenne.
I do want to speak for Cheyenne. Thank you. Finally, I've had my chance to voice my complaints. Okay, great. I just want to make sure that point was wrapped up. You know, what I'm thinking is that I am just lost in thought in a sense. And I mean, we've been going at it for, I don't know, 5.5 hours. So maybe we need to think about wrapping. But I think that it's striking to me that the captain is operating at the level of both like universality and complete ego. I think that's like what I'm hearing about the captain right now that I haven't really thought about before is that, you know, Mr. Green is trying to say, what about your nephews? What about my kid? What about my kids? Whatever. What about my wife? And I think that the captain is able to operate on this like kind of like universal like, oh, we'll destroy the Nothing Corporation, and then everyone, including the elevator guy, including HR, everyone will be happy. And it's sort of like, well, that's your like universalist, like utopic ambition. And you have like a kind of like individual egoism that's driving this of like being the savior of the universe, and also a universality that I'm finding difficult to. I'm just having a hard time like making that synergistic, but I do think it's true, and I think that every other character is offering a different perspective of like, what about me? What about the HR team? What about the everyone I help in the elevator ride? What about your nephews? What about all of my unpaid interns? What about my my harem? What, you know, like I don't know where that goes, but I think that the captain is in this position, and I think that him like adopting the mask of someone that cares about anything besides himself in a like the weird egoistic way that we've already talked about, or the universal like, if you were being honest, Mr. Green, if you were being honest, Cheyenne, you would already be overthrowing the government, is like. That's a really interesting place to be in, and I think there's a lot of opportunity growth there. But I honestly can't like conceptualize it right now. I'm having a hard time like.
That's totally fine. I mean, this clearly went like way far afield of like developing some characters, but like this is all like usable. Great.
That's the
like,
point.
This is the kind of conversations I want to have about this stuff. How do we do this, and how do we make it good and make it the best thing ever? Right? Because we have the time, because no one will give us the money. Right?
and time is
Well,
the real treasure.
I think that like characters who are super egotistical. I won't think of any specific examples right now, but like there is this there. It's a very weird character archetype, I would say, and nothing is springing to mind of a person who is both like a universalist, like because normally you would think about that person as sacrificing themselves, like Buddha sacrifices himself for the universal, or like Jesus is like sacrificing himself for the universal. But a person who's both like committed to the universal, or maybe that is Jesus, I don't know,
I just
like
want
a
to
kind
say
of like
Buddha never sacrificed himself.
well, but again, maybe that's like where we need to look for this kind of thing because like the captain has to convince Mr. Green at some
It's not
point,
important.
and maybe this is like not even like the captain wouldn't do this, but like does the captain worsen conditions so that Mr.
Like-
Green realizes that like oppression under the fascist empire is too much to bear?
I think
I don't know.
think
Is
we're-
he- is
we
the
don't-
captain
we
an
don't need to make this-
accelerationist?
We don't need to make this the
No.
Christian cast or whatever,
No.
but like, I mean, if you're talking about reconciliating like specific actions with like universal morality, yeah, Jesus, I guess, right?
Yeah, that's crazy talk, obviously. But,
So,
like,
so like
but Jesus sacrificed himself.
the greatest
Why
story
are
ever
we on
told.
Jesus again?
Because I've got to give Ryan as a reward for the best Catholic.
All right, real quick. I just think in general.
Yeah.
Oh, I had it. It's on the tip of my tongue.
I tell you what,
Oh,
Mike,
man.
let me give you a little time to think it up, as I'm going to bring this to a close just because of total runtime and places to go. And I think we have like a million things to talk about. And I see Mike's brain churning.
No,
and
I got
burning.
it. I got it. So you were saying the system of oppression, right? Like, I think you're going really far with it. I think what all Mr. Green is trying to tell Mike Badone is like, basically, you have an
Meta.
egotistical captain here that can solve these problems because he knows how. And he wants to solve them so bad that he's not thinking of others. Mr. Green is constantly reminding him that your actions have consequences. And the way we do this is going to affect a lot of people's lives. And if we just do it to where we take out the head and things like, does that really make the elevator's life guys better? Does that make Tallulah's life better? Does that make Mississippi's life better? And like,
Yeah.
because over time they do become your friends
Yeah.
and
No,
they
I mean,
follow
this-
you. Yeah.
This is a fundamental question of the show, right? Is like, where does theory meet practicality, and where are we weighting those things against each other versus just like accepted reality of how things are and our actual ability to affect things if we were honest with ourselves about how hard we were trying to do that.
Right. And just like in real life, when like in today's world, everybody tries to paint it as black and white. This show is supposed to be about the shades of gray. And I think that falls into how you go about making change. It's like, it's clear that we need to make change.
And
but how do you do it?
I think even simpler than that, right, is the idea that like it can't be both. You can't tell me everything's black and white and then turn around. Everything can't be the best thing and the worst thing, and also like there's tiers of all of it, right? You know, like something isn't adding up that like can only be at least diagnosed with like an honest assessment of a shared reality or something, right? Which is like,
Yeah.
to go back to the content club, like, oh, let's make sure we're talking about the same episode of the same show. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but I think this is great. I think we got like, this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about, is how just like discussing like a location can lead to like all of these other things. Like when we're talking about like collective understanding. But we've been talking so much, I'll probably have to cut some of this out. This is a very long recording, but I just want to kick it over to Ryan for some final thoughts he might have here, or he can talk forever, I guess.
Wait, am I here? I can't see myself. Am I talking at anything?
Yes, I can see.
Okay,
you.
great. I want to say that I think that another character I want to bring up is maybe
No,
it's
he
that.
didn't hear any of the other part, but keep
No, I
going.
heard it all. I heard it all. I think that what I'm thinking about right now is I think that the location, talking about all of this, is really important. The character development that the captain faces and like the conclusion is what I'm thinking about. And I feel like we have like a Frodo situation on our hands. Is that at the end of the day, what you were just saying made me think like, does the captain give up? As a matter of fact, like with his quest at the end, at the penultimate episode, does the captain give up? Because the captain, because he's an egoist in one sense and a universalist in another sense, he's missing all of the, like, it's not just like, oh, I'm a giga villain, like I'm like Brainiac and I just want to like be evil or whatever. Like I think that the captain is missing the shades of gray, the 50, maybe there's 50 shades of gray,
I
maybe
think
there's only 49.
I think perhaps this is being like too poetic to like what you're saying, right? But like there's something to that, like in order to defeat the economy of nothing, the captain will have to accept that it will cost him something, right? And if he's unwilling to let it be anything else, like at some point it has to be him, right? And when he narrows it down to a certain point, he's not gonna turn against Green. He's not gonna turn against his nephews, right? So like he has to betray one of these two thoughts, right? Is like the thing you were trying to say earlier, right? And like, is this a more interesting thing if we decide what that is now without investigating it at all? As
No, no,
you
no.
know,
It's
is
not.
like
I'm not trying to investigate it. I'm trying to ask the question of like, Frodo, Frodo Baggins. Okay, I was like, wait,
Froyo Baggins.
Frollo, and the Hunchback of Notre Dame. I think
go
that like
follow me at
there-
Froyo Baggins. At hey, can we?
no,
Can
but
we start
there's a
social media
point.
and
My
get
point being that like
Froyo Baggins?
Frodo has a mission and he convinces Samwise to like carry him the rest of the way. And I think that like that's
makes sense.
I think that Frodo is actually a fucking boring protagonist, and I was thinking
Yeah.
about it. Our audience will know I love to think about
Oh, at some point I'm
protagonists.
sure we can talk Lord of the Rings.
And I was
movies.
thinking about how he's a boring ass protagonist, but I am curious, like, does Mr. Green and Cheyenne and the nephews and the elevator guy and the HR woman, do they all like convince the captain in some sense of like the humanity that exists between just your personal individual self and the universalist, like the Nothing Corporation is evil? Is there some kind of version where like they side with him because he's their friend? Like Mr. Green is like, look, I will help you destroy the Nothing Corporation at this point. Like the penultimate or the finale is like, yeah, we're gonna take this shit down because like they're fucking up with you, with the kids, with my family too much, whatever. And like, is there some kind of event that like culminates into like, well, the very thing that the captain dismissed. This is why I just wanted to get this out. Like in my mind's eye, the thing that the captain dismisses is the humanity between the gradations between the individual and the universal, and those gradations are what leads to his success. Like the thing that he didn't take into account is the thing that like uplifts him to overthrowing the Nothing Corporation because they chose friendship or whatever.
I mean, no, it's as
where
corny
he
as like
didn't.
I
Oh
think
my
the end of this
God.
show is they.
Isn't
the
that
show
clean?
is they might choose friendship. Like, do you know what I mean? Like the captain either like. I mean, part of this is like the idea that like the only way it actually gets fixed is through like collective action. But the conversation of everyone
Well,
just being
obviously.
like, "Hey, the economy of nothing's no good. What are we going to do it?" Someone has to step
Yeah.
in and go, "I have an idea, and I'm going to do it until someone has a better one." Right?
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
And Mr. Green's trying to, and that the back and forth between the captain is like, Mr. Green, you're making great points. Your plan exactly is what? Your plan's not to do my plan. Great plan, Green. I think we'll just be sitting here then, right? Like, do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly. Like he's so dismissive.
So unless
of,
it's
like,
going to take
the
food out of
material
Green's mouth, right? What arguments are you actually making?
Well, because
like,
he's like
The captain
he's
doesn't care about
constrained by
his
the
feelings.
material
He's a jerk
reality
or
of having to
something,
pay
right?
for
Like-
his kids.
All right.
Like at the end of the day,
I-
Mr. Green has to like feed a child.
Speaking of kids, Mike Allen, I was thinking perhaps
Yeah, we
We
should
could-
we could wrap it up, but I would just like to say Cheyenne's aka Ryan with no last name, his whole premise for wrapping up taking over the Nothing Corporation was the plot of any JRPG. It's defeating a giant evil corporation or
Yes,
entity with the
exactly.
power of love and
Is that
friends.
what Final Fantasy VII is about?
Yes, that's what all of them are about.
Okay.
Actually, I'll
Every
have
single
you
one.
know that's also the plot of every anime.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I like
Is
anime.
every
anime
I've
is
just
friendship.
never
ARPG.
seen any of it.
The power of friendship.
And
Yeah.
love. It's friendship and love to defeat
Yeah, I'm sorry.
evil.
I don't know.
Maybe next Content Week
Mm.
review we'll talk about Sailor Moon, where the main character turns into the moon.
I
Nintendo
knew
Switch
it.
is
I
more
knew
fun
it was
than the
coming.
Xbox.
Yeah.
But,
Hey, everyone. Thanks for sticking around for the Economy of Nothing podcast, where we're recording a show within a show. You can reach us
You're a
at
real hero if you're still
economyofnothing.com.
listening.
Yeah, more power to you. Send all the comments you want or anything you want to see. Give us some ideas. Maybe you'll be a guest host one day. I mean, like guest in the show and a host one day. You never know.
Let's bring
Anything's
on a
possible.
random YouTube commenter to be one of our guest stars. That would be
Absolutely.
amazing.
Someone who's calling it AI slop. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. Ryan, Mike, thanks so much for being here. Thanks, everyone, for listening.
You're welcome.
Economyofnothing.com. Economy of Nothing on YouTube. economyofnothing@gmail.com. Like, figure it out, everybody, as we mentioned previously.
We have a
All right,
website.
There's a website. Like you've been tricked if you're like, oh man, is there an easier way than going to a website? Not really, everyone. Okay.
You know, my
Evan?
grandma once asked me how to find something, and I just Googled it. I just typed it into Google directly and passed her the phone. And you could do that too.
Wow.
Join us next week for more Grandma Slander. Let's check out the opening of Monsters Inc. Catch y'all later.